Labas vakaras, aš esu Paulius iš Perkūno namų, esu ekstremaliosios muzikos festivalyje Armageddon Descends III ir turiu progą pasikalbėti su festivalio headlineriais, graikų grupe Dead Congregation, o konkrečiai grupės gitaristu ir vokalistu Anastasis. Hi Anastasis, how do you do?
I'm really fine, thank you.
How was your journey to this place?
It was a bit long, we had a long stopover in Kiev, but overall it was really fine.
Tonight's gig is the first one in the series of shows throughout Europe this year. How do you choose which places to play, and do you get many invitations?
Actually, this isn't our first show in this year. We had a show in January in Slovakia as well. Yeah, well now we have I think about 9 shows booked so far for 2015. It's a bit hard for us to accept all invitations that we get due to our regular jobs. So we try to choose the most interesting ones, and so far these are the ones that we have booked.
Dead Congregation is not your first band. Before that you played in Nuclear Winter. How much influence did your experience in that band have on the work of Dead Congregation? Is there any continuation between these two bands?
No, not really. We totally consider those two bands as completely two different entities. The truth is that Nuclear Winter was started by members who they eventually left the band, and in the end I was left in the band, and none of the founding members was in the band. So at some point I had a few songs to record, and I found Kablys on the drums. We recorded them as Nuclear Winter, but as soon as I started playing with Kablys, it became apparent to me that our chemistry was great, and we needed to start something completely fresh together. So we decided to stop Nuclear Winter altogether and form Dead Congregation.
And Dead Congregation's first full-length, Graves of the Archangels, immediately became some kind of a sensation in metal underground. Did you expect that it will be received so well?
Well, to be honest, when we were in the studio recording the album, we knew that the material was really strong, and we knew that it would have an impact, but we never expected it to become so big. I mean, it's not really big in mainstream terms, but for the underground, it really, it had a very strong impact.
Many bands have problems with finding the right studio to record or record label for their music, because not everyone can give them enough freedom for creativity. So what could you comment about this from your own experience? Did you ever had problems with that, and how did you deal with that?
Well, to us, freedom it's the most important thing to have on the recording and on the release as well, and it's one of the main reasons why we have declined offers from bigger labels. But regarding the studio, we always do the production ourselves, so it's important that we have good communication with the sound engineer. There was a little bit of a problem with that with the first album, because the sound engineer was a little bit too busy and a little bit reluctant to accept our ideas, but on the second album everything went really smoothly, and as we wanted it.
Yeah, so talking about that second album, Promulgations of the Fall, it is considered by many to be one of the best, if not the best, death metal album of the year 2014. So what could you tell us about how different was the making of this album from the first one? How did this album came about?
It's hard for me to say what was different, because we never tried to do something consciously. We just start creating material, and whatever comes out naturally, that's it. So, but it's true that we try not to repeat ideas that we've done in the past. Of course, death metal itself, it's quite limited as a genre, but when we come up with songs or part of songs that sound like something we did in an older song, then we try to do it differently. So we just try to evolve our sound without thinking anything more than that.
There is a tendency in metal underground to concentrate on making EPs and splits instead of full-length albums. However, this doesn't seem to apply very much for Dead Congregation, because you just have one EP and one split with Hatespawn and 2 full-lengths. So why is that so? And do you have any plans for putting out any more short releases in the future?
Well, in my opinion, I think EPs, they serve as a promotion when a band is small and they want to put the name out there. So they do a couple of they do a few EPs and demos to get attention. But in our case, as you said, we were really lucky that we got a lot of attention with the first album. So from there on, we feel it's more challenging to come up with a complete full-length album that it's interesting enough to get the attention from the audience, instead of releasing just 2 songs on an EP. So we always try to present a more complete work, but that doesn't mean that we are against EPs, and who knows, maybe we will do an EP in the future. We don't know.
But there are no concrete plans?
No concrete plans so far, no.
Based on my own experience interviewing various musicians, I noticed that what a band seems to be influenced by just listening their music, and what its actual influences are is not always the same thing. So, of course, it's almost boring now to mention it because everybody else talks about it, but I'd like to ask this: how much impact did Incantation, or maybe some other American death metal bands like Immolation, have on your music? And how do you feel being compared to them so often?
To be honest, it's a little bit tiring to hear about Incantation nowadays, because we can understand the connection with our early works, especially the first EP.
Yes.
The first EP was heavily influenced by Immolation, Incantation, but with the new album we strongly felt that we would get away from the Incantation tag, because we felt that the new material is a lot more personal sounding. We wouldn't say that it's original, because nothing is original nowadays.
Yes, and it does sound more different from Incantation.
Yeah, but yeah, we still read a lot of reviews where the reviewer said that it sounds like Incantation, and to us it's confusing, because to us it doesn't sound like Incantation, but you know, we may see it differently. If I had to mention a name, I would say that Morbid Angel is a greater influence on us. Many people, when they think of Morbid Angel, they always think of the first album and Abominations of Desolation. But all of us in the band have always been great fans of Morbid Angel, even the Covenant, Domination, Formulas, Fatal to the Flesh, and Gateways to Annihilation. All those albums, we love them. So
what do you think about their latest album?
I haven't heard it all, because I heard just a couple of songs, and that was enough for me not to be interesting.
What they did.
Yeah. But I didn't even like Heretic either, so I kind of lost hope after that album.
How about Greek metal, death metal scene? Did those bands have any impact on your sound? And
Not at all, because I personally was never a big fan of the Hellenic scene. I liked it at the beginning of its formation. We had a lot of bands who were original at the time, like Varathron, Rotting Christ, Necromantia. They all tried to do their own thing, but after Rotting Christ released the first full-length album, Thy Mighty Contract, then the majority of the scene, the band started to sound like Rotting Christ. So at that point, it became a little bit less interesting for me, and I stopped following for many years at least.
a lot of people seem to think that traditional death metal has already exhausted itself from within, and to make something interesting and to avoid simply repeating what someone else has done, you have to mix this genre with something completely different. What do you think about such ideas? Well, your own music seems to contradict them.
Yeah, what I think is that if you want to keep it interesting, you have to have good ideas, regardless if they're original or not. I mean, if a song is good, it is good, and that is that. It has nothing to do with originality. I mean, even if you look to older bands, when Slayer started, they weren't doing something original. They were copying like old heavy metal bands of the past, but still they were great. Yeah, I think if you have good ideas, they are good ideas, and that's that. You don't need to be original. You must do what you want to do and what comes out from you naturally, without trying to force anything. If you force yourself to be original, then you might be original, but it won't. It will still sound forced. That's how I feel personally.
It sometimes quite ironically seems that bands who want to present themselves as original sometimes are even more boring than traditional old school bands who sometimes have good ideas.
Maybe, yeah, but still, it's not a rule on that either. I mean, a band can be original and it can be great as well. So, as I said, it's not about originality, it's about being good. And nothing more, nothing less. You can be good by being original, you can be good by not being original. And you can be boring by doing both again, so...
Of course, so thanks very much, it was very nice talking to you. And I'm looking forward to see your show this evening.
Thank you very much for the interview. Take care.